Staying on the topic of mental health, last year, for any of my listeners who aren't so aware of the story, you and your family were trolled quite viciously online. And that is a big problem in society, particularly for people in the media spotlight. Why did you choose to speak out about it and take it that next step?
Well, in some ways I didn't want to. I was getting smashed from pillar to post in the media. I had cameras camped outside my house pretty much for 14 days because what happened was I got off the bus after a game against South Sydney to go and see my daughter who was doing it a bit tough. We hadn't seen her since March, and this was in the August now.
She was in year 12
Yeah,
too.
she was in year 12, yeah. She called her dad crying after the game, and she'd seen messages and whatever else on social media, and I'm going to a plane, I'm thinking, we've just lost 4 or 5 in a row, whatever it was at the time, and I'm thinking, I'm about to jump on a charter flight, leave my daughter in tears at home who needs a dad. So I pulled the bus up and I said, I'm catching a cab, and they said, well, that you'll have to do quarantine when you go back. I said, I'm going to see my daughter. And so I come back and it was big news in Queensland. Anyway, long story short, I was able to do 14-day quarantine at home. The government allowed me to do that, but the cameras were camped out side of my house for the best part of the 14 days. So I think about day 3 of quarantine, I had a phone call from the chairman of the Broncos, and he said, you need to engage a solicitor. And I'm going, what's going on now? Because there was just all this crazy stuff. He said, mate, these rumours are just gone out of hand. They've gone viral today. He said, I've had hundreds of people send them to me.
So it was an issue for the club as well?
Well, it was an issue for the club as well. Of course it was, yeah. And so I'm thinking, well, where do I start? You know what I mean? Like, where do I start? As I said, I rung up the club solicitor, Dave Garrett, who was a fantastic guy. And he represented the club in some different cases. And I said, look, David, this is, and he's gone, mate, he said, it's just, in our office, it's gone viral. It's just gone viral everywhere. And by this stage, I'm getting inundated with people calling me, texting me, and I'm just letting it all go through the keeper. And I said, what do we need to do? He said, we'll put out a statement. So we put out a statement, and he said, Dan, I'll look at getting some cyber security people involved, because he was an ex-SAS soldier. And so he had some connections in that space, and that was the start of it. Now, I just wanted it to go away. And Erin Molan, who is the Channel 9 person, she's a very strong lady. I'd been interviewed by Erin, but I didn't know her on a social level. She called me that night, so literally that night, about 9 o'clock, and said, I'm not sure, Anthony, if you know, my dad works in the Senate. I'm not sure if you knew that I've been trolled heavily, and we need to make a stand, And I thought, well, if we don't start doing that, then who's going to do it?